Hello and welcome to the Situation Report today. Very glad to have you joining me. This is the show where we do our very best every single episode to give you the information and perspectives you need to navigate an ever-changing culture. My name is Jeremy Stalnecker. I am your host. And today we are going to discuss really what I would consider a tool that we can use as we navigate an ever-changing culture. Again, we talk about this so often on this show. The world as we have known it is no longer. Things have changed, and I would imagine that is consistent across the ages or throughout the ages. Probably all people everywhere have gotten to a certain age where they look back and think things have changed. Things are different now than they once were. We wish they were the same, but they're not, and we need to figure out how to operate, how to function, how to think, how to live in this new world. Every age, again, I would imagine, has looked at the day they live in and looked at it and had a thought like this, that things are so much more complicated now. They're so much more complex now than they once were. The days behind us were more simple. They're complicated. We need to figure out what to do now. It's funny, one of my teenage kids the other day said, just in passing, I wish we were in the 1980s. Those seemed like such simple times. That's funny. That is like ancient history to them, right? That was my childhood. That's ancient history to them. But they were going through a moment where they looked at technology and how fast things move. And from what they know from hearing me and hearing their mom and watching TV, they think the 1980s, kind of the best of both worlds. There was some technology. There was a lot going on. TV was there and you could go to the movies, but life was simpler. And we all have those thoughts. We had a guest on this show not too long ago who was talking about, we were talking about AI, we were talking about technology, we were talking about all these things. And one of the areas that we discussed in that conversation was that people need to get a hold of just this reality that we can either build the future that we want or we can absolutely be overwhelmed by what's happening around us. And when I talk about navigating an ever-changing culture, that's the spirit I want to have. I don't want it to be one of those things where, and again, we've all been there, where we're just kind of hanging on or we're playing the defense and we're trying to figure out what the next move is and where the next step should be and what we can do next because life is out of control and we're just trying to navigate a crowded lane in front of us. I don't want it to be that. I was going to say we, maybe you want it to be that. That's not what I'm talking about when I talk about navigating an ever-changing culture. We do need to acknowledge and really to just understand that culture is changing. We need to navigate it. We've got to figure out how to deal with technology as it is and decaying morals around us and a different understanding of what it means to have virtue and to raise our families. We need to understand those things. But we need to understand them so we can navigate. What does navigate mean? It means so that we can build the future that we want to have, so that we can be the people God created us to be, so that we can invest in our families and grow our kids to a place where they can be productive citizens. When I talk about navigating an ever-changing culture, I want us to be the kind of people. I certainly do want this for myself and for my family, for the people I care about. I care about you. I want you to have this as well. I want us to understand what is. That's why we bring professionals on and people who really understand the world as it is. I want to know what's going on. I want to have a clear mind of what's going on. And then I want to ask the next question. Well, what do I do with that? Understanding these issues, how do I build the life that I want to live, build the country that I desire to live in, and not to be naive, not to deny what is, but to understand this is where we are. This is the time God has placed us. We have tools available to us. We have opportunities. How can we move forward in a good way? I think too often people like me, maybe people like you, live in a state of almost anxiety, certainly fear, even if we wouldn't say this, fear for the future, overwhelming concern for the world the way that it is and the world that our children will have to grow up in. And I don't want that for myself. I don't want that for you. I don't want that for anyone. We need to navigate in a way that is positive and encouraging and brings peace to our life because we know we are building. All right. Now that was a long build-up to get to what I want to talk about today. If we are going to do that, understanding the world, but more specifically, beyond that, understanding how we can navigate in this world and build and grow and produce and experience peace, how we can make good decisions. If we're going to do those things, there's a tool that we must employ. There's something that we have to understand. I've alluded to this in other episodes. We've talked around this and even talked about it a little bit. But I want to speak specifically today for a couple of minutes about the importance of having and being a mentor. Having and being a mentor. Now, I'm not trying to veer into the lane of pop psychology. I know this is mentoring and mentoring relationships and all that. Something people talk about a lot, and they mean different things from one area to another. If you're talking about in a school with kids or different areas, right? This can mean different things to different people. But broadly, I want us to understand how important mentoring relationships are to our understanding of the world the way it is and how to navigate forward. This is an area that we don't spend enough time thinking about or talking about or developing. And there are two sides of it. There is the side for those of us that need a mentor. I think all of us need a mentor. So there is that side of it. And then there is the part where we have the opportunity to be a mentor to others. And it's crazy when we're seeking the wisdom of people who are a little further down the road than us, there can be great peace and clarity and direction. And when we do our best to use what we've learned and the experiences that we've had to help others, there can be great clarity and peace and direction. There certainly is purpose that comes from that. This is so helpful if we will take it seriously. And I want us to just spend a few minutes talking about what a good mentor relationship looks like and why it is important. So let me take a minute to talk about why I think the mentor relationship is so important. And I'll talk about that by really discussing what a mentor is. What is a mentor? Again, this can be a formal relationship, an informal relationship. In some settings, we might call this a coaching relationship. This is someone who can coach someone else. But when I talk about a mentor, what exactly am I talking about? There are a few keys here that I want to share with you that I think are very important. So a mentor, ideally, is someone that cares about you. If you're looking to have a mentor, cares about you, is interested in your success, but is not emotionally invested in what you're dealing with. This is very important. A mentor is someone who cares about you. That's important, right? Now you can pay a mentor, you can have a business mentor, a business coach. When we're talking about life and we're talking about navigating culture and we're talking about all of these issues that we talk about on this show, I believe that a mentor is someone who, it's not a person out there that you find on the internet and that you pay to come in and speak to your situation. You can do that. Business coaches are important, and there are areas where you can pay someone for their expertise to deal with a specific issue. But if you're talking about a mentor, someone in your life that can help you move forward and navigate the world as it is, you need someone who cares about you. This could be a relationship that you've developed in a church, in a community group of some kind. You're volunteering, you're working, you meet someone. This can be someone from your past, someone that maybe served in a coaching role in your life at some point in the past. Maybe they've been a teacher. These are people that you know that care about you. They care about your success. They want your marriage to be successful, your relationships to be successful. They want you to be successful financially. They want you to be successful in life. They want you to make it. So that's really important. A mentor, again, we're not talking about a coach paid for and brought into a situation for a specific issue. we're talking about a life mentor, someone that you can go to. A mentor cares about you personally. But even though they care about you personally and they care about your success, they're not emotionally invested in your situation. One of the challenges that we have as people, human beings, is that we get so wrapped up in the emotion of what's happening around us, we don't think clearly. Let me give you an example that you are probably familiar with. I would imagine that you, just like me, have been able to give people advice and then just shook your head when they ignored your advice because you know that what you said was the right thing, but the person you were giving advice to ignored it and things did not work out well for them. And you just kind of did one of these, raise your hands up in the air and went, I don't know what else to tell you. I gave you good advice. You ignored it. Why did that person ignore your advice, even though it was good? Because they are emotionally invested in their situation. And even though your advice was good advice, it didn't feel like the best way, or it didn't speak to what they hoped you would say because they have a preferred or hoped for outcome. They are so emotionally wrapped up in their situation that they were unable to receive your advice. But you were able to give good advice. Now, you could be in the same situation as the person you gave the advice to. You found yourself in that situation and have no idea what to do. I've been in this situation so many times. I counsel a lot and I give advice to people a lot. And to me, it's so clear. I don't need a lot of information. I can often see the way that people should go and the steps they should take. But then I find myself in the exact same circumstance and I have no idea what to do, or I make the dumbest mistakes. You probably have your thing. When it comes to finances, this is me all day long. I know exactly what other people should do with their finances, but when it comes to my own, I'm willing to, throw off all the rules and this just feels right. I'm going to do this because this is what I think should happen. You need a mentor who is outside of the emotion of your situation. Why? So that they can give you common sense advice. They can look at the situation as it is. They know that 1 + 1 = 2, and they can give you that 1 + 1 = 2 advice. I see your situation. I know the direction that you should go. This is very important. It is not impossible to have mentors who are emotionally connected to you. People in your life can give you good advice, parents and others who you're connected to, and they care emotionally about you. But I have found personally that the best mentors are those who care about me and they care about my success, but they're not emotionally invested in what I'm doing. Very important. They're able to separate themselves from the emotion of the moment. That's very, very helpful. But they do care about me and they care about my success. This is also helpful. We can go to someone that we believe could be a mentor, but our success would somehow infringe upon their success. You ever had that type of relationship? They want me to be successful, but not as successful as them because that would maybe make them look bad or take a piece of the pie, so to speak, from them. I need someone who cares about my success. They want me to be as successful as I can possibly be. They're rooting for me, and they're going to give me the best advice possible. All right, so that's really important. Another very important aspect of a mentor is that they have been down the road that I'm on a little bit further than I am. Say that again. A mentor should have been down the road that I'm currently on a little further than I currently am. What does that mean? There are people who can give really good life advice and those things are wonderful. And having just a person that you can go to bounce things off of and be a mentor in that way. And maybe they don't have specific experience with what you're talking about, but they can give you perspectives. That can be very, very helpful. But let's think of an issue like a marriage relationship. If you have a mentor for your marriage, you and your wife or you and your husband have a mentor, maybe it's a mentor couple, that works great often. and you have issues in your marriage or concerns in your marriage or things that you're trying to figure out in your marriage, and you go to them for advice. They are your mentor couple, or they are the mentors that speak into that. If you have a mentor for your marriage that's never been married and never dealt with the things you're dealing with, or they've been married less time than you, they're not as experienced in marriage as you, they may be good friends and they may be able to give good advice, but the best mentor for a marriage would be a couple. If you're a husband or a wife, maybe it's another husband or wife who can give you specific advice because they've been married, they've been on the road you're on right now, but they're a little further down the road. So they can look back and say, hey, I understand where you're coming from. I understand what you're dealing with. Here are some things we've done as we've dealt with those issues, those concerns, those circumstances. They're on the road, but they're a little bit further down the road than you are, maybe a lot further down the road. This could be the same with finances or any of the other areas we might need a mentor. And again, it doesn't hurt to have a mentor who can just speak into your life regardless of what situation you're dealing with, but find people who understand contextually because they've experienced it, what you're dealing with. They can give good advice because they have experienced it. So when you have that relationship established, you have identified that person. The question I've been asked often is, do I just go to that person for advice and for counsel and for mentorship, or do I establish a formal relationship? That's a great question as well. As you acknowledge, I need help. I'm going to need someone to speak into my marriage, into my finances, just into my life as I'm trying to navigate the things that are happening and trying to understand the world as it is and raise my kids. I need some people to speak into this. I need a mentor or mentors, and having more than one can be very helpful. Should I make that a formal relationship, or should I make that something that I know that's the person I go to when I have a question? I think either one can be helpful, but there is absolutely nothing wrong with talking to that person or those people and saying, hey, in my marriage, in my relationship with my spouse, or you go to them as a couple, in our marriage, we would like to have a mentor couple. People can speak into what we're doing. Would you be willing to be that for us, a mentor? Having that conversation, it changes the rules just a little bit because now you know why you're going to them and they know why you are coming to them. They need to take it a little bit more seriously. They know that you're actually looking for their input, and that establishes a more formal relationship. There doesn't need to be a contract. There doesn't even necessarily need to be a we meet every Tuesday at 9 kind of thing. Maybe it can be as we need help, as we are going through something, can we come to you? But let them know, the mentor, that you want to have that relationship with them. That can be so helpful. That may also cause them to think things as they read things and see things and experience things that they would kick over to you even without you asking. So you've established that relationship. You've got someone in your life who cares about you. They are rooting for your success, but they're a little bit outside of what you're dealing with emotionally. They can give you clear, logical advice. They can speak into your situation. And they have experience with what you're talking about. They've been on the road, maybe they're still on the road, but they're a little further down the road than you. And you, recognizing you need that help, have gone to them and said, we would love to have a mentor in this area. Would you be that for me, or would you be that for us? You've established that relationship. What does that look like? So what does that relationship look like? I want to give you a few things that once all of that's done, what does that relationship look like, or what should you do to maintain a great mentor relationship? Number one, I would say establish clear goals and expectations. Establish clear goals and expectations. When you talk about this with the person you desire to be your mentor, you establish clear goals and expectations. Would you be that for us? And here's what we expect. Maybe it is every Tuesday at 9. We'd love to sit down and talk to you for some period of time. Set that up front so that everyone knows what to expect. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's every once in a while, periodically. We'd love to get coffee. Can we do that? And we'll bring a list of questions and just work through it, and you can give us your thoughts. Maybe it's something else that you're trying to get out of that relationship. Establish clear goals and expectations. What you expect from a mentor. If you are the mentor, because either one may be where you find yourself. If you are the mentor, establish clear goals and expectations. Don't agree to do something that you are incapable of doing. I don't have the ability to get together with anyone one time a week indefinitely for the rest of my life. I'm not going to commit to that. But I'll commit to getting together for coffee once a month or every week for the next month or some period of time. Establish clear expectations. This is what we can expect. This is what I will do for you, or this is what I would ask for you to do for us. Establishing those clear goals and expectations will make the process so much better. I have been in mentor-mentee relationships where I agreed to things that I just didn't have the ability to do because of time, everything else that was going on in my life and other things that were happening. And it became a very frustrating situation for the person that asked me to speak into their life. And it became frustrating to me because I certainly wasn't trying to hurt anyone or to not be good at helping or encouraging. I want to be successful. I want them to be successful. And because I did not have a clear expectation going in and they didn't set clear expectations for me, it wasn't possible. Set clear goals and expectations. This is what we hope to get out of this. Number two, understand that communication, it's funny when you mess up the word communication. Communication is key. Communication is the cornerstone of any successful mentor relationship. If you ask someone to speak into your life, communicate well with them. You asking them, and it may be a specific situation. In my marriage, would you be a mentor for me and my wife, for me and my husband? Would you be a mentor to us together if it's a couple? Would you do that? Communication is essential. Don't ask someone to speak into your life and then withhold the information they need to give you good advice or good counsel or good mentorship. Communication is key. It is the cornerstone of that successful relationship. If you are not going to be able to follow through on the established times to talk or whatever the expectations you set were, be very clear about that. Communicate that to them. Be willing to communicate well. If you are the mentor, be willing to communicate well. This is very, very important. I've got someone in my life, and I've got a few people, but one person I'm thinking of in particular who has served as a mentor and continues to do that. And it's crazy because he is willing to very clearly and very directly speak into my life. And that's what you need from a mentor. When you are a mentor, don't be unkind. That's not what this is about. Don't be obnoxious or for whatever reason, so direct that you're hurtful. You are there to help, to provide the keys and opportunities for success, but be very clear. Communicate well. Be very deliberate about what you say. Hurting feelings should be a thought in your mind, but that shouldn't be the number one thought in your mind. If someone is inviting you into their life and asking you to speak into their life, they're doing that so that you can provide clear counsel for them. Communication is absolutely necessary. Again, be kind. And we'll talk about this in just a minute. This is not intended to hurt. And even if you're the mentor, you're not the expert. You're just there to help. You're there to encourage, but you must be clear. Communication is key. If you are receiving mentorship, be very clear about what's going on and what you're asking for and what you expect and what you're dealing with. Be very clear about that. Very honest, very open, very transparent. And if you are the mentor, speak clearly into that relationship. The next thing, though, is this, and this goes along with that. Understand, respect, and confidentiality. Understand, respect, and confidentiality. This goes both directions. It is possible for a mentor to use their own struggles or experience, something they may not want to broadcast to the rest of the world, but they may be willing to use those things to be a help to you. If you are the mentee, so to speak, you are the one receiving counsel or help from the mentor, you need to respect what they're saying, respect their time, respect the fact that they're willing to pour into you, and maintain a confidential attitude and disposition with them. You're not going to share what they share with you of a personal nature with other people. You might learn things about that mentor that they wouldn't want to broadcast to others. They need to know they can share those things with you and it's not going to get out. It's being respectful, respecting their time, respecting their input, respecting what they're giving to you, and you're maintaining confidentiality. The same is true on the other side as a mentor. And if you're being asked into someone's life, into their situation, you're dealing with a marriage. There may be some real issues that are going to come up that you're going to find out about someone that maybe no one else knows about. They're sharing that with you so you can help them. That information should not go anywhere else. You're speaking into someone's financial life, same thing. Financial issues or concerns or challenges, they're sharing that with you because communication is key, but you as a mentor need to maintain respect for them and the confidentiality of that relationship. That is the only thing that will allow that relationship to grow when both people involved know that it is confidential. There needs to be flexibility and adaptability. Life is messy. Life is not perfect, so be willing to adjust. But again, that goes back to good communication. Provide guidance and support. We've talked about this already a little bit, but as a mentor, although you are probably emotionally outside of the situation, the longer you work with someone, the more emotionally connected you come to that. Do your best to maintain kind of an objective attitude so you can give clear guidance and direction, but then provide guidance and support. Different than a relationship someone might have with a therapist or a paid counselor. You have a relationship with them already, so continue to care about them. You don't only need to care about them when you sit down and talk. Continue to provide guidance and support. Be there for them. Set boundaries, of course, very important on both sides. This is not an open-ended opportunity to talk whenever you want to talk. Set boundaries. Be willing as a mentor to say, I'm not always available. Here's my cell phone number. You've got it. But I'm not always available. I'm not going to answer maybe every time you call, but we can set up times. I'm willing to schedule things. We can work that way. Set boundaries. Be very clear about that. And then have regular times to check in. These are all so important and so helpful. Develop those what people would call a mentee relationship, being mentored and mentoring others. Use your own life lessons, the skills that you developed, the relationships that you've had, the connections that you have. Use those to be a blessing and a benefit to others. Otherwise, they're wasted. Use them to be a help to others. Look for opportunities to encourage and to strengthen. And when someone asks for your input, be willing to sit down with them and give it. But on the other side, you should have some mentors in your life, throughout your life, people that you can go to and that have an open door to speak truth into your life and your situation. If you have those in place, you have mentors and you are a mentor to others. It's amazing, again, how much peace and clarity comes even though the world around us is absolutely crazy and out of control. When you have a good mentor who's been down the road a little bit, one of the things they bring is experience. They've seen a lot of these situations and circumstances unfold. They've seen it in the past, and so they've had to learn how to navigate it, or they learn from someone else. They can share that with you so you don't have to figure it out for the first time. They can also provide a calm that says, look, this isn't brand new. It looks a little bit different than it did, but turmoil and difficulty and trial, that's always been a part of the human experience. We're dealing with it now. They can provide that. They can calm the storm around you. And that can be so helpful. And then as a mentor, remembering what you've been through and having the opportunity to invest in other people can bring great peace and purpose and meaning to your own life. It can redeem so many of the difficult experiences that you've had in your life as well. There are few things as important as in life as having and being a mentor. One of the wonderful things I believe about podcasting and shows like this one and so many other shows, so many incredible podcasts and great information out there. One of the things that I think is so helpful with those. And one of the reasons we're so blessed to have this incredible information available to us now, we can almost have virtual mentors. And I think it's important to have real people that you look across the table from that really care about your success. But I do this, and I like to do this, and I like to bring on guests to speak to us and to help us understand situations and circumstances as they unfold. And I like to have these conversations because, to me, this is almost a virtual mentoring relationship. That's why we go to these sources, to learn from the experiences and insights of others. And we need to extend that into our real world, certainly learn from the virtual mentors that we can have, but then go into the real world and find some people that can speak to our unique circumstance. That can be so helpful. I have not met anyone in my life who has experienced a measure of success, someone I'd look at and say they were successful in their marriage or their finances or business or other areas of life. I haven't known anyone personally who's found a level of success that did not have good quality mentors speaking into their lives. Likewise, I've never met someone who was beyond the years where they were concerned about business and marriage and those things, that was happy and fulfilled, that was not also pouring their life back into others. We need to have mentors. We need to be mentors. And as we have the right people in our lives and we're seeking to provide the right counsel to others, navigating a world and a culture that is constantly changing, it's not easy, but the path we need to take becomes clear. And instead of reacting and playing defense, we're able to begin putting the right pieces in place and building the life that we desire to live, the life that God has called us and created us to live. Have a mentor, be a mentor, and you will do so much better as you navigate this world, as you run your family, raise your kids, in your business, whatever your situation is. You have the right people speaking into it, and your ability to be successful is exponentially increased. I hope that's a help to you. That is one of those tools that is available to all of us, but we really need to take advantage of it. I hope that you will do that. Again, thank you for watching and or listening to the show. Really appreciate it. If you have not yet subscribed to the Situation Report, go ahead and subscribe. Very, very important that you do that. That lets you know when new episodes are pushed out a couple times a week. And it also allows us to do more content like this and have other great guests on. And we want to continue doing that as well. So thank you for that. Please make sure you are subscribed. And then go over to thesitrep.org. Thesitrep.org, that's our website. You can find archive shows. There's a place to sign up for our newsletter. So much great information there. Please check that out as well. Thank you. Look forward to talking to you next time.
We were not made to live in isolation. Sadly, many of our veterans feel they need to fight their battles alone. This self-isolation has led to the staggering statistic of more than 20 veterans taking their lives every day.
A lot of guys end up drinking, a lot of guys end up losing hope. Some of them will go to the VA and they'll try to get, prescription medications to help with PTSD. They'll get pills for anxiety, they'll get pills because they can't sleep, now they'll get pills for depression. Before they know it, they're taking 12 different medications. And when it's not working out, these guys lose hope, and that's why there's 23 guys a day committing suicide.
The mission of Mighty Oaks is to eradicate the veteran suicide epidemic and help our warriors change their legacies. As a result, we've been able to help over 4,000 veterans and first responders by equipping them with the tools they need to live the lives they were created to live.
Everything they said just kept hitting me in the heart over and over and over again. It's like all the things that I didn't know that I needed to hear. And I opened my heart to God that week, dude, and I've been a different person ever since.
Our faith-based, peer-to-peer approach has one of the highest success rates of any program available today, offering hope and understanding to those who need it most. We provide our programs and resources, including travel, at no cost to our warriors.
I remember talking to a licensed social worker who actually handed me a pamphlet to Mighty Oaks. So I went. And I'm glad I did.
By aligning their lives to biblical principles, These men and women are able to lead their families, their communities, and our nation. Our mission is to serve and restore our nation's warriors and families who have endured hardship through their service to America, and to help them find new life purpose through hope in Christ. It's your generosity that can make a difference in the lives of the men and women who have fought for our country and our freedoms. Now that they're home, don't let them fight alone. Learn more at mightyoaksprograms.org.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any better, Mike Lindell with MyPillow is launching the MyPillow 2.0. When Mike invented MyPillow, it had everything you could ever want in a pillow. Now, nearly 20 years later, he discovered a new technology that makes it even better. The MyPillow 2.0 has the patented adjustable fill of the original MyPillow, and now with a brand new fabric that is made with a temperature regulating thread. The MyPillow 2.0 is the softest, smoothest, and coolest pillow you'll ever own. For our exclusive listeners, the MyPillow 2.0 is buy one, get one free offer with promo code SITREP. MyPillow 2.0 temperature regulating technology is 100% made in the USA and comes with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Just go to MyPillow.com and click on the radio listener square to buy the one, get one free offer. Enter promo code SITREP or call 800-870-0283 to get your MyPillow 2.0 now.